All right. Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. Today we will talk about Studio, UiPath, some tips and tricks. I will also show you like the basics of UiPath Insights. Very nice that you're joining. We're a small group, so if you got questions later on, feel free to ask them. And yeah, I think I would just share my screen and start with the presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So as always, first I want to show you the UiPath Insider portal. For those of you who don't know it, that's a really nice place to get the latest information about the newest features. There is a monthly product demo. For every month, the product teams of UiPath will show their newest features. It's really nice to have a look. I mean, there are probably around 5 to 10 topics each time, and they're around 5 to 10 minutes, so quite short, but it's good to have get a first impression of the new features. Also, there are the different preview types like private preview or public preview of the newest features. This is the roadmap. You can have a look at this. So as you can see, private preview, public preview, different topics with a short description. Just have a look, and maybe one of the things is interesting for you, then either join the waitlist or maybe, try to join the waitlist if it's private preview, and if it's public preview, you can start right away. There's usually also a quite nice, manual, I would say, which explains you how to use the newest tools, kind of academy style, but in a shorter version and with some examples. I, for myself, am pretty interested in coded agents and agentic UI automation. But I haven't had the chance to have a look at this. So, so this was actually the first thing that I want to do. Now, going to the next topic would be studio tips and tricks. When I planned this meeting, I wasn't sure about how much tips and tricks I will do and how much insights I will do. So the tips and tricks part will be quite short. I thought about the tips and tricks that I think are the most useful when I work with Studio. I mean, there are a lot of different things you can do with Studio, but maybe start with the ones that I use the most, I would say. Some of you might know them. They're pretty straightforward, but they tackle specific questions. So first question is, how can I find my stuff? So you can use Control F for find. You could also click on a sequence, like for example, this flowchart, and find references. If your code gets big and messy, this is a nice way to find where flowchart is invoked. I could click on it. And then you can see like it's in sequence X. And here you can see that it's invoked. Other than that, you can also do the same thing with variables. If I again go into this flowchart, I have different variables. I can find the reference and I can see where it's used here, 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 and also if it's not used. Now you can see here it's 0, so it's not used in this flowchart. Besides that, you can also do that with arguments, find reference. Okay, there's one it appears once in the code. If you click on it, can find it. So this is more or less to find stuff. What is new is to set bookmarks. So I already set a bookmark here. I mean, this code is pretty straightforward, but if the code gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you want sometimes to make sure that you find the spots where you're still working on. You could either, in the past, I always set breakpoints, or I wrote comments where I wrote down that I still need to have a look at this. Now you can do this with bookmarks like this. I can here click on this toggle bookmark, and then I got a bookmark. And here in the bookmarks panel, you can also write a little message. Could be, I still need to change XYZ. Something else that I, to be honest, found out quite late was, usually I always did it like this. So if I want to close everything, I clicked on close, close, close. And I've seen a lot of people do this, but you can also click here and close all documents. Again, this is pretty straightforward, nothing crazy, but it's nice when you know it. One more thing, this one, remove unused. I was in this flowchart and we already saw that I wasn't using variable y. So I can also, just to clean up my code, I could delete unused workflows, variables, arguments, dependencies, imports, and screenshots. If I click on this for variables, it will search for them. In details, it will show me the ones that I'm not using. And if I click on OK, it will delete them. This makes sense, I would say, to clean up your code, especially if, if different people are working on that code, it's always nice if you have clean and tidy code. The last thing I want to show to you when it comes to Studio tips and tricks is object repository. I'm not sure every one of you has worked with it, but I guess so. So when you work with object repository, you're working with descriptors. So I got this application, which is called Rechner, and I got the window Rechner. Rechner is German and stands for calculator. And if I just have a look here, you can see this little symbol, and once it's colored, and here it's not colored. When it's colored, that means that it's inside the object repository. If it's not colored, it's not inside the object repository. If you hit on that button, this will open the application. And here, if you navigate on this, okay, now it's loading. Here, if you click on this, you can also navigate to the different descriptors. One thing I also think is quite nice is here, if you click on the UI activities, you can see all the different descriptors used within activities. If it's this little dot, then it's also part of your object repository. If it's not, then it's like this. But you can also click on here to synchronize the descriptors which aren't part of your object repository. This one is this, and if I click on start, and now I can see the descriptor is also here, and it's also here. So as I said, this will be a short one on Studio tips and tricks. That's actually all I wanted to show to you. I mean, there are also so many different things to within Studio that you can use, but I thought these are the things that I usually use. But there are also different YouTube channels from other MVPs, which I can recommend to you. You can either check this one out. It's 90 seconds, UiPath tips and tricks. As you can see, these are very short videos, which you can maybe have a look at. That's also quite nice. Yeah, not the videos are quite short, so you can just watch them in between calls, for example. And the other one that I want to recommend is this one, UiPath tips and tricks from Jeppe. I will share a presentation later where I also will share these YouTube channels. Next thing I want to talk about is UiPath Insights. It's the analytics tool. I'm not sure how many of you have used it. In the end, what do you want to do? You want to visualize data, and maybe also next to visualize data, you want to create alerts, like to kind of monitor your processes and also prepare, for example, slides for your management. So they can have a look on the return on invest and, for example, on how many jobs faltered or were successful. I will also give a quick introduction to UiPath Insights and the basics. Later on, I would suggest to you, if you get access to it, play around with it. My goal right now is just to enable you to start playing around with it. So as a first step, just to use it, of course, you need a license. You need an Insights Designer user license. And I will quickly show that to you. So within the user licenses, there's one called Insights Designer User, and Insights users that can create new dashboards as well as edit and delete dashboards that they have access to. This is step one. And within Insights, if you click here on Manage Access, you can read this notification. But in the end, what you need to do is you need here to edit users and then assign this designer role simply to be able to create dashboards. So once you set that up, you will be able to start creating your own dashboards. I will guide you through the different tabs. So on the left, you can see my dashboards. Here you can see tenant, where you can show dashboards that you shared within the tenant, so other people can see them. Within my dashboards, only I can see them. And organization, the same as tenant, but within the organization, UiPath templates. These are pre-built templates from UiPath. As you can see here, these are the tenant ones, and these are the ones on organization level. We will have a look at them later on. The real-time monitoring, I won't cover this topic, but this is maybe something you can also investigate on your own. On the top right, there are also a few things I want to mention here. If you click on dashboard, this is pretty much where we are right now. Configure ROI dataset. This is if you want to use or maybe create a ROI dataset for better monitoring, especially when it comes, for example, to management slides. So what you can see here, there's a data scope, which is either tenant level or organizational level. I can quickly show you what's the difference. I mean, this is on organizational level, and here you can see the different tenants. What are the inputs, either processes or queues? What does that actually, what can you actually edit here? So I got a process. The manual time to do this process right now is 1 minute. And what is the hourly cost? 1. So you can change appropriately. You could talk to the department and find out the process, if they do it manually, how long does it take, and also what is the cost. So you need to change these values to later use them on your dashboards. And you can do the same with queues. So we got a queue name for every queue item. What is the manual time? And what is the hourly cost? As I said, this is quite interesting when you want to see the value of your automations. Configure custom variables. I won't cover this topic. Manage access. We already talked about this. And manage schedules and alerts. I will show that to you later. Okay. So maybe let's create a dashboard. So on the top right, you can see create dashboard. So I can either import a dashboard or I can create a new one. Import one, for example, if you're working on different tenants and you want to share them, so you export them and then you import them on the other tenant. Okay, let's create a new one. Okay, so I started to create my dashboard. First of all, we will go through all of that, but one very important thing that you should never forget is I start editing my dashboard. Now I can add, for example, let's say a button. And let's say you always have to hit save. If you don't do it, you can see it's gone. So this happened to me in the past. So I was editing my dashboard and I forgot to save it. And usually with a lot of different UiPath software, it's auto saving. But for here, you really have to save manually, just that you don't forget it. Okay, so again, let's create a dashboard. So you can click here or here on add. We'll start with the different things you can do. You can add a button. All right. What can this button do? You can give it a label. You can put a hyperlink, for example, the orchestrator hyperlink. So if you have a look at the dashboard later, you can click on that button and orchestrator will open in a new browser tab. And you can, of course, change the design. What else? You can add like a text. You can add a markdown. I won't go into detail with these topics because I mean, they're pretty straightforward. And as I said, my goal is to show you all the different things, and then you can maybe play around later on. And if and while playing around with it, have any questions, always feel free to contact me. And then maybe we can have a look together, or I can share, talk about that in the next session. And probably the most important thing is visualization. So this is where you start actually creating your insights. On the left, you can see the different data that you can access. I will start with UiPath Insights on a tenant level. Here is an organizational level. I click on jobs. And what can you see now? On the right, you have 3 different things. You have your data. Based on that data, you have a visualization, and you can also filter your data. On the left, you got the different data that you can take into consideration. So let's maybe start with something simple. So you always got like a dimension and a measure. So the dimension is more or less like category, and measure is, for example, a number. What could be interesting is, okay, I got a process and I got like the successful jobs of that process and the faulted jobs. So as you can see, it changed on the right. You got a job process name, job successful jobs, and jobs faulted jobs. Once you click on run, you can see the different processes. You can see the successful jobs and the faulted jobs. Now, what I could do, I could add a filter here. For example, I could filter on jobs name only be X, and then it will only show X, but yeah, this doesn't make sense. But you can add filters here, or you can filter on your dashboard itself. I will show that to you in a second, but just that you've seen it, you can already filter here, but this will be a permanent filter. And now when it comes to visualization, you got different kind of charts. You got a table. You can see here, it's like a process name, successful jobs, faulted jobs. You got column chart, a bar chart, scatter plot, a line, area, a pie. Pie charts require one dimension and one numerical measure. Okay, we got one dimension, we got two measures. What could I do? I could say here, hide this field. And now I got one dimension and one measure. And now you can see pie chart. This is Google Maps and a single value. Single value will always show the top left here. If, for example, I show this again, I got all these values, but it only shows this one. If I hit here on height, it will show this one. Just that you have seen this. Yeah. In the end, what kind of chart or table or single value you use, that's up to you. Of course, it's always important with dashboards to tell a story or like to make a point. But again, play around with it and try it out. These are the fields that are pre-built already, but you can also create custom ones. There are three different types: custom dimension, custom measure, and the table calculation. Custom dimension would be based on the dimensions which there are already. You can create new ones and maybe, for example, do some calculations already. Then the other one is custom measure. So what do you choose? Either you choose a dimension, for example, creation date, and then you choose a measure on that creation date to get a new measure. Or you right away start with a measure and apply some, for example, filters on it. Yeah, that's all up to you. And I think the most important one is table calculation. Here in table calculation, based on the table that you're looking at, like these three columns, you can create a kind of a new measure and use that. For example, here you can see these are the three values, and then you can use different functions to create new values. So actually this concludes what I wanted to show to you here, but maybe let's create something small here. hit on run again. Okay. Yeah, and then wait 1 second. I wanted to show you here one last thing, just to have a better look at it. You can also click edit here, and here you can change, for example, the color, successful jobs. Here you can change the color, and then it looks like this. You can also do custom ones. Again, play around with it. Okay, now you can see I created a little dashboard. Now I want to add a filter. Okay, what do I want to filter on? Job, process name. Okay, when I create a filter, I can choose different ways like button group. This is button group. This is checkboxes, tag list. Let's go with checkboxes, add them. All right, and now you can see it's here. I hit on save, and now I got this. I know it doesn't look super fancy, but as I said, I want to show you the basics. And now, for example, I could filter using this filter, click on this one, and just show me these two. And now you can see this is the only thing that you can see. So when you start creating your own dashboards, what I suggest to you is to start maybe with a template or have a look at them and learn through that. So for example, this one, you can click on copy to my dashboards. So now it's loading. So this is a template from UiPath. This looks quite nice. Maybe one thing that you can see now, you can also click on this and then it's not visible anymore, just like some features. But what is actually more interesting, I would say, is so I got that copy now, and I think, okay, this looks nice, for example. Then you could explore from here. And then you're once again in this view, and now you can see what it shows. There is a dimension. These are all measures. These are custom fields. You can see them. These are table calculations. These are all custom fields. So if you're, for example, interested in one of them, you can start from a template from UiPath, explore them, and maybe have a better look at them via a template and learn from that. And maybe also just use it for your own dashboard then. Okay. So how can I share my dashboards with the tenant or the organization? For this one, for example, you can share duplicate and share with the tenant. And if it's this one, which is on a different level, as I said, I shared this one with the tenant, so it should be here now. Okay, maybe I stopped it. Okay, now it's here. And this one I want to share with the organization so other people can also use it. Okay, and yeah, I think the last thing that I want to show to you with regards to insights is wait a second. Mhm. Okay, now I know. Um, sorry. Yeah, so you can, as I said, you can edit them, you can download them, you can schedule delivery. I mean, this is probably, yeah, the most interesting one. You can give the schedule a name. You can tell when is it, when should it be sent? Send it now, monthly, weekly, daily, what time, who should, what destination, who should get it, what's the format. You can also do advanced settings like expand the table to show all rows, means all these rows would be shown. And yeah, give it a custom message, etc. I mean, this is nice to just don't need to actually access insights. Also, it can be sent to people who don't have access to insights. Okay, I think this pretty much concludes what I wanted to show to you with regards to insights. I know it's pretty basic, but this was my intention so that you can start on your own, that you know where to click, where to find what. Um, and I also checked if there are maybe some videos on YouTube when it comes to design techniques or what chart types to use. These are the 3 videos that I found, which I think are quite nice. Also, have a look at them. They're also quite short, and it's quite useful, yeah, to get a better understanding of which chart to use, which colors to use, how to design them so you can get your story across. And this actually concludes, yeah, my presentation for today. Thanks for joining. My next 2 sessions, the first one will be on site. It will be in Berlin in a beer garden next June. So happy if you're joining. And also in July, I will cover agentic testing. Probably I will go through the autopilot features when it comes to testing. And also I thought about doing some agent builder and Maestro. If there are any topics in which you would be interested, let me know. Then I could also cover them. If you might be interested in presenting yourself, also let me know. Yeah. So thanks for yeah being here, and also yeah. All right, I'll stop my sharing my screen. Okay, now I can see some questions. Can we use Insights for on-prem orchestrator? Yes, I think so, but I'm not sure uh, if it's that easy to set up. But also you can check on availability, but I'm pretty sure you can use it on-prem. Can we export or download dashboards into Excel? Yes, you can do this, or at least CSV. I think when I showed you that you can export them, there is also the option to export them into CSV or as a CSV. Yeah. So, are there any other questions? Okay. So, thanks for joining. I hope it was nice for you, and also usually I don't want to do 1 hour. I know the call is set up for 1 hour, but I know from myself that I can't keep my attention up for 1 hour. So I thought half an hour is good enough. Yeah, again, thank you. If you got any topics, please reach out and then I can cover them next time. All right, then have a good day.